All right, Zig on the Top 10, the show of Antonia Tricarico. Antonia is quite an accomplished photographer. In the past year, she has worked as an archivist for the Pulitzer Prize winning Washington Post photographer Lucian Perkins and has collaborated with independent labels such as Tolotta Records, Dischord Records, Kill Rock Stars, and Youth Action Research. Her work is represented in both private and public collections, including the National Museum of American History at the Smithsonian Institution, the Permanent Exhibition and Special Collections Archive of the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial Library in Washington, D.C., the Michelle Smith Performing Arts Library at the University of Maryland, the D.C. History Center, and the Library of Congress. Her work has been exhibited both nationally and internationally. Antonia is the author of 3 books, the first being Frame of Mind, Punk Photos and Essays from Washington, D.C. and Beyond, 1997 to 2017. The second being The Inner Ear of Don Ziatara. Inner Ear being the legendary recording studio in which Bad Brains and Minor Threat and all the D.C. bands recorded out of, and Don being the producer. And then her new book that's in the works right now, which is called Be My Rebel, Protest Photographs Through Art, Music, and Essays. Antonia is running a Kickstarter to help fund the book. They're about 71% through, and they have 28 days to go. Be My Rebel is a photography book that is born from Antonia's belief that the powerful images can shift perspectives, raise awareness, spark empathy. This book captures the raw intensity and emotion from protest. It's not just a book that documents protest, though. Be My Rebel highlights the way these movements shape culture and society. Every image is created to pull you into the moment, to make you feel the passion, anger, and hope that is fueling the fight for justice. And to deepen the story, this book also includes many essays by women artists and activists, some of which you may know, including Kathleen Hanna of Bikini Kill. You, my friends, can help bring this book into reality. The Kickstarter is linked below. We get way more into the conversation. I leave this conversation being not only impressed with Antonia's photography work, but also her ability to jump into new roles just on a whim and kind of fully immerse it. And in a way, I think that's what good photography does. It takes you away from the moment that you're at and puts you into the moment that you're looking at, the photograph, and fully immerses you in it. And I think with a lifestyle of being able to jump into new things fearlessly, it helps you see that in other moments. And I think Antonia does that in her work, and I think it comes through in the work, in the photos that are in this book. Now, before I get to this conversation, if you hear anything you like on the podcast, if you can like, rate, review the podcast on any of the streaming podcast platforms, it helps me keep talking to cool guests like Antonia and sharing their insights with you. So without further ado, this is my conversation with Antonia. Well, let's start the interview at 97, because that's when you start doing photography, right? Or do you start photography beforehand?
I really started doing photographies in the 80s in Rome. But let's put it in this way. We always had a camera in my house, in my family house. There was always a camera here, there. And my father used to take photographs with these bayonet cameras from Germany. They still have it. Just family portraits, nothing, nothing more than that. And I saw him really relaxed behind the camera. Otherwise, he would be a very, very shy person, a very introvert. But through the camera, I saw something of him that was different, that usual, family scenario, let's say. So I started to take photographs, just friends, photographs, but never too serious until I moved from the South. I moved to Rome in the 80s, and I had a darkroom in my bathroom, but wasn't still at that time wasn't a serious engagement for me. Was something like a hobby, something to do beside the usual things, working or playing music but then in 1997, I had some boxes shipped from Italy to DC, and when I opened one of them, my camera resurged, and I said, "Oh my God, my Canon AE1, the usual, that time in the and since then we became basically one entity." And it was also, I understand that my attachment to the camera became some kind of survival, not to be here by myself without no family, no old friends. I with a very poor English, just school English that you learn in school. That's not the same when you move in a country, different country, and became my tool of survival. And through the camera, I found myself as a not different person, but basically a person that needed to adjust the life that I was living in that moment, and moving to United States was a big step for me. I wasn't that young, and I was enthusiastic like a very young person, but I was also aware of all the difficulties and knowing new people when you are a little bit older is not a priority, but the curiosity saved my life, and so putting together all the photographs that I was taking and my curiosity really put me in a better spot. So yeah, that's a little bit. Photography, was more. I was more serious about, and I never stopped since then. So yeah,
it's interesting because with how you said with your father, how he would relax and he was a introverted person. It's like the camera is picking up everything exterior from the capture the photographer's perception, and in a way it says anything that is extroverted about the happening of the moment. And it's really interesting, in a way, for someone who's more introverted, a photo can say everything that is happening around them with one kind of movement. I find that really fascinating that you found your way into it that way as well.
Yeah. I mean, it's, I take photographs of, my subjects are people, human bodies. And I know why, because that's what I'm made of. So I'm fascinated by human faces, body language, no, and all the emotional states that I can really found in that moment while I'm taking photographs of a person. So I take photographs of people, what they do, either musicians, protesters, people without housing, passerby, people that are in the street, and all of them really, what I feel through the viewfinder is that I am the person in front of me. It's like a mirror reflection, and so I can see emotional vulnerability and a lot of presence in that moment. So I think what my father was feeling was that he couldn't really express himself talking in a let's say in a very mellow way. So he found that through photography, that definitely. But he wasn't a professional photographer. So after a while, I think he also gave up to take photographs of teenagers or adults, children. Okay, they are on their way out, and this is it. So what I see in my photographs, what I would like for the viewer to see is basically that I understand that photographs is basically freezing. It's freezing the moment of the physical presence is frozen. But what I'm trying to bring up more is, for example, for the punk community, I want to bring out the resistance, the attitude, and we know a lot about punk attitude. It's not just about music. I mean, punk is not just about music. We know that. So what I'm trying, it's a lifestyle. I mean, I am 66 years old, and I'm still thinking that way. I'm still thinking I have to do this by myself. I have to make sure that everything, especially everything, is made in a way that I want it, and not nobody else. It doesn't mean that I won't accept suggestions or cooperation. I love that. But if it is between my communities, I accept that. It is from outside, and it's just made because people want control my work or myself. I can't accept that. So this is yes. If people say you still punk at this age, I said, whatever. Just ditch the terminology, please. Just talk about how is your life. Talk about your life. How you
Well, it's
how you live your life.
Yeah, well, that's the spirit of it. And like, you know, kind of going back to like when you first came to America, like having a camera in your hand, like kind of opens all these events, you know, like, cause most people are like, if you're in there with a camera, they're like, all right, cool. There's going to be some evidence of this passing moment, especially at something like a show or a protest or something that's happening right now. Like there's only so many people out there capturing it. So like having that is like, you know, is important for everyone all around, but like kind of like jumping like into like the whole like kind of the punk ethos and like seeing shows like that where it's like people are fiercely passionate. Was that like I guess, did you see like that type of person in Rome before you came to America?
Oh yeah. I mean, I know people. When people think about Italy, you see, you know, the classic music or the pop, you know, national music, or you see all of that. But we were people at that time in the late 70s. Well, late 70s, I was in a feminist group, and then in the beginning of the 80s, when I moved to Rome, I was in a punk band, played drums out of blue. I mean, I started to play drums like whatever. I don't know how to play, or let's do it. And so my friends. So the spirit was punk spirits. That was probably the influence was coming from different countries. But we love it. We love it so much. We start to do the same thing. So when I moved here, I just find, you know, especially knowing Joe involved with the DC music scene, I was over the top. I said, oh my God, I can definitely find my people here. It doesn't matter the language. It doesn't matter where you come from, really. It's the spirit. It's the same. It's exactly the same. Now you can act in a different way, of course. Also, the music won't be exactly, you know, how should be, even if you know, is how the music should be. If it's a punk music, you make your own music and you decide how. But let's say that the standard, no, of course, is to be different because you are in a different country. But the spirit and everything that connects you to to the other people that are living the same thing. It's the same. I felt the same with my friends in Italy, and they still like they were before. They didn't change. They didn't try to do, having, I don't know, success in a certain way, or try to make tons of money because that's the life, that's the best life you can have. And so when I moved here, I felt pretty positive. And with all the difference that we have, when you are from different countries, yes, they are different. The culture is different, traditions are different. But you get there. You understand. You adjust. You feel. You start to feel what other people where you live are feeling, and that's important. And that's through conversations, through relationship, and it's very important to understand that it's really hard for people to move to different countries, but if you are an open-minded person, I think you can definitely do it, and also you can definitely make the people comfortable to live.
I think that it has to take like flexibility like that, and an openness to it. And like, I mean, going through it from behind the lens, it's like very open because you're literally capturing everything around, and like that's incredible that that same spirit, is not just like, it's not just a place thing, it's not just a location, but it's a thing that's found inside of people no matter where. And like,
yes.
So very quickly to ask about playing drums, what was the band you played in?
It was called Amnesia.
Yeah.
But it's in Italian, different pronunciation. It's not the word amnesia. Is amnesia. It's like you put the accent in a different vocal. So it was like some kind of invented name that resembled the amnesia, but it's not. It's not the same word. And I was the problem with the band, if we may say that was a problem, is I was the only girl in the band, and that really bothers me a lot at that time. I mean, now it's different, but at that time I was feeling like, oh my God, I want to do something with women. But in that moment, the reality was that there were no many women played in the band. I mean, we were in Rome, and Rome is such a big city, but still there were really few women. They were maybe singing, and there were a few that I knew that were playing guitar, but play drums was really a man's work, and that really was, for me, was a heavy thing. I mean, one time a journalist said, "Oh my God, you are the most beautiful drummer that I know. I mean, a woman drummer that I know in Italy." Oh my God! I mean, I almost wanted to, say a bad word, but so it was like, people were coming to me, even almost. Not even say, "Oh, you are really good at playing drums." No, "Oh my God, you are a woman playing drums." I said, so it was too much. It was a little bit overwhelming. And then, luckily, things, went in the opposite way, and more women start to play in bands and then form their own bands. But for me, the band was just was a little bit like photography in that period. Was something that you were doing on, let's say, on the side, on other things, because you also needed to survive and you needed jobs. I work in music production for 10 years, and that was amazing, and it was a lot of work, actually. And so after a while, I said, okay, I can't do this anymore. I can't play. I have to focus on the job, and because I really liked the job. I was, I did that for almost 10 years. So
Okay.
That was a long time.
And is that like stage production? Is that like recording production?
Well, I was in I was in the office, and mostly doing the promo things. At that time, because the internet wasn't present, like now we had physical photographs, physical packages of the band sent out from the United States and from England, mostly Great Britain, mostly. With the package was with the bio, with the photographs and all this stuff. So you needed to catalog and then put everything together. Then I was answering phone calls, and then my boss and the other person in charge, they were mostly traveling and doing the tour. And sometimes I was going also see bands outside Rome, and I was helping out, catering the dressing room. I had multiple. We were just a small three people. And then we had all the drivers. They were driving the bands all over Italy, and that was, it was an amazing job. I just love it. I mean, the list of bands that came to Italy it's amazing. And my boss, if it wasn't for him, all those bands, they would never ever play in Italy. So I'm talking about bands like Willie Bragg, Nick Cave, Alex Chilton. You said Chilton? Yeah. Jimmy Cliff, Stockton Twins, the Creeps. There, I don't even know. Del Fuego, Derek B, Desmond Decker. I mean, the list is Dream Syndicate, Everything But the Girl in the beginning, the Flashtones, Bill Frisell, Robert Fripp, and David Sylvian together. Go Betweens and Guanabats, Gun Club, Richard Hell, Johnny Thunder, Oscar Du. There's so many. I can't even. King Sunny Day, Modettes, Elliot Murphy, Nico. Really, really poly rock. I mean, some bands that Primal Scream, Yusundur, the Violent Femmes, Suicide, wonderful people. Lion Lobby, Susie and the Banshee, the Smiths, Sonic Youth. When they were in the beginning, there were just a few people there. Soundgarden, Harry Rollins, Jonathan Richman, Public Enemy, Psyche TV. I mean, the list goes on. I mean, Random C, Joe Strummer, and
wow.
So it's a really huge list. The Wailers, whatever. I mean, Virgin Prunes. Now I can't think about that. There are so many that even a Public Image, and So that's what I was doing, and so I didn't have time to.
For sure. Well, I mean, that's
play drums,
That's an incredible, what a cool aspect of it to be involved with. And one thing, I guess with you're dealing with the promo packs. I'm trying to the press kits where you're looking at looking at photos of bands, and like those photos are usually, they're usually stage photos where it's like, headshots kind of.
Yeah,
but
yes.
Also, how did that like kind of open your eyes to like the potential photography, like the story that can be told?
That's a good question. You know why? Because I never took photographs of them. I was working so hard that, can you believe it? I mean, I will have, probably books and books to publish just for the fact that they were playing in Italy and not in the United States. So they were photographs from Italy. But I was so involved in the job. I really enjoyed, and it was a lot of work, actually, that I didn't even think about. It was more about working and good relationship with the musicians. I never had problems with them. The majority were so respectful, and we just had great time. With some of them, we were going to eat dinner together. Some of them, they came to my house outside Rome in the country, and they still have good memories. I lost track with the majority of them, of course, and the most impressive relationship was John Strummer and can I say this? We smoked pot in the dressing room together, and Suicide too. We smoked pot, and so musicians were just so polite. They were kissing my hands just to thank me for the work. It was about more relationship. That image, you know what I mean, was really not just showing what they were doing in that moment. It was more what I was feeling in that moment and what they were feeling. It was just building up a little bit of relationship with those people and not just be someone behind the scene working for them. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about hanging out with Joe Strummer and Alan Vega?
Well, it was good. I mean, Alan Vega, he was the. Okay, I mean, I always had this problem with my bosses. They were, now you have to come in after the show. You have to come in the dressing room because they want to know you, because we told you how much you work. And I said, I am not going in a dressing room after a band, after the show, and smell all the sweating. I also put them in a situation that they may feel kind of, they have to change themselves and just get chill out a little bit. And my boss was insisting that, don't worry, they already did that probably. And probably, I said, what do you mean probably? Don't worry about it, just come. So yes, with Alan, they were already, they probably took the showers already and put them new clothing, and they just were there hanging. My English wasn't perfect. That's what I was the only problematic thing for me, but we didn't even need it because we were talking about how beautiful was the show. How the crowd was really responding to the concert, and then was all thank you all the time, and because we, in Italy, especially in the 80s, we didn't have weed. There was no weed at all. It's still now. It's not that weed is so popular like here in the United States. So we had hashish. And they had problems. In Europe, you smoke ashes with a little bit of tobacco. So all the bands coming from United States, they all have problems. We didn't have pipes. We didn't have anything like that. And they didn't want to smoke with tobacco. So they were showing us a way to smoke without tobacco. With an apple, a hole, dig a hole
Yeah.
in the apple,
Yeah.
or the toilet paper, the how you call the little cardboard that's keeping the toilet paper. And they were putting closing and put two holes on that. So they were showing us other ways that they could smoke ash without tobacco. And so, as you see, it was also an exchange of how to get high. If you really wanted, you could find a way to do it. We're pretty young, and we're just trying to enjoy the company. If even was a briefly, encounter, but we were very happy with that. John Strummer was different. John Strummer, we had a connection that we had a little connection. Let's say that nothing happened, and that because I was very serious on my job and never got involved with musicians in any other way besides working for them. But John Strummer, so we were in Salerno, south of Italy, and we were eating at this big, we had a catering. So people were, there was a chef cooking for them and for the crew and for the artists, for the musicians. So he was there with not the Mescaleros, the band before that. I don't think they had a name, but now I can't remember. But what I know, it was I think in the band was the bass player for Circle Jerks.
Xander.
I think so. I think it was that. So, yeah, we had these two big, huge tables where we were eating separated from the next to each other, but whatever. So I start to notice that they were looking at me, and they were talking, and then suddenly somebody said, "Oh, you resemble. Oh, I'm sorry, we're talking about you because you resemble Meryl Streep. You have the same feature of Meryl Streep face." I said, "All right, what's this?" All right, then we start to laugh a little bit about, and then at the end of the dinner, I was finished with my boss, the other people working for the show, and Joe Strummer, he came to my table, and he just said, "I am Joe Strummer. Thank you so much for all your work." And we shake hands like this. I said, "Okay." And then I was in a dressing room moving some stuff. I remember those napkins. So I was going out from a dressing room, and he was going out from another dressing room, and we just bang, was a bang. All the napkins went on the floor. And he started to apologize. In English, "Oh, I'm so sorry. And I was talking Italian, whatever. So from there, after the show, he asked my boss, "Do you think it would be possible?" That was in Rome. It would be possible for Antonia to take us around Rome, showing. That was 3 a.m. And then I told my boss, "No way, I'm not doing that. I'm going home." And then I went to Salerno, and then this thing happened. And then we were in near Bologna, and he invited me in his dressing room. I didn't want to go. And then his bodyguard, he basically said, "Don't worry, it's fine." And then he was there, doing, trying to cover all the cuts that he had from playing guitar on his arm. And very stupidly, I said, "Oh, what are you doing?" It's like when you are, embarrassed that you are there with this guy and say, "Oh, I'm covering." But he was very, understandable. He was like, "Oh, I'm covering my cuts because blood will definitely while I'm playing, there will be a lot of blood, so I'm putting some bandage there. And he asked me what I was doing in my life and very, let's say, mellow conversation, also because my English wasn't that good. And then he said, okay, after the show, please, we should have a party in a dressing room. And then was that we went, it was full of people in the dressing room, and he came to me and he gave me a joint, he passed me a joint. And I didn't have problem to smoke with him because he was mixing with tobacco. Yeah. So and we smoked, and then we stepped outside. They asked me if I could take them to Milan, and I said, no, I'm going back to Rome. This is it. I mean, and then he said something in my ear. Okay, this is something that always I'm thinking that movie Lost in Translation, because I couldn't understand what he was talking about, but I had this, I sensed that he was saying, how I'm going to meet you again. But this is it. There was kind of big question mark. And then I saw him again in DC. He was playing the 930 Club. It was I think it was 99 or 2000, I can't remember. And I sent him, I was backstage with Joe, and I sent him a little note to say, hey, this is Antonia from Italy. I don't know if you remember me. I'm here, blah, blah, blah. And then he came on I said, I'm here, Joe from Fugazi, blah, blah, blah. And he, before the show, he was on stage and he said, oh, yeah, Washington, D.C., Fugazi. And then all the people went crazy. It was amazing. Yeah. Wow. And then we went in the dressing room. He was a little bit different. He was, when I met him, he was still, a skinny guy, and he was a little bit, I noticed that he was a little bit overweight, not overweight, absolutely not, but he was different. And also, he was there with Lucy, his wife and kid, and the kid was sleeping in the dressing room in the 930 Club, and we started to talk, and it was pleasant, and he was very nervous, very, very nervous, and I may say that he was nervous because he was waiting for someone to bring some weed in the dressing room. And, the connection with Fugazi,
Yeah.
I mean, people are I think people should just chill out about this thing because people do whatever they want, correct? Yeah, but he was in D.C. and he thought there was maybe it was disrespectful to do something in front of a person that was from actually Fugazi. Anyway, but it was pleasant. And then in 2001, he came back, but I just had my daughter. So he was playing the show, and I told Ian, the first time he played, Ian didn't go. So I told Ian, you have to go and say hi to Joe Summer and just send my love. And he went to meet him in the dressing room like we did. And he just sent his love to me and Joe and our baby. So this is it. This is it. And then he was gone. Yeah.
That's incredible. What a cool friend to make through all that. Like, well, it's not that we kept in touch but there was, when he came to DC, I thought there was a good opportunity to at least, say hi. And that was my intuition. And then I was happy that I did it because then it was gone. Yeah. And I was, this is it. He's always present with his music, and he was a really, really good person. He was a really good person. That's what I can say for sure. For one, my short
period, I spent with him, but you can see, you can feel when a person is good. Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah.
And
Same.
as someone I've always admired his work, and it just warms my heart to hear that it carries through, and that he is a good, he's the real deal.
Yeah, he's the real deal, and he wasn't trying to do, I don't know what. The Clash had a period, where even myself, I was doubt. I said, "Oh my God, they have changed." No, there was that period of maybe too many drugs involved, but that after that, you see you continue to feel that, oh yes, he's back. You know what I mean? And that's very important, yeah, to have that feeling, and especially when a person recognized what I say, oh my God, I lost myself for a while, but I'm back. And that was great. Yeah.
So with your experience with working with production, how did that did you find that type of work helped you when you decided to do photography at full time, when you decided to jump in and do it seriously? Did those skills transfer?
Yes, I think so. In that period, I was working on them, and then when I moved here, I definitely I didn't make a connection with that. When I started to take photographs, I wasn't thinking, oh, this is great, I worked for them and now I'm taking photographs. That came later. Actually, yeah, came later. But that period, I was going to shows every night, pretty much. And so always bringing my camera with me. So it was so natural for me. Music has been present in my life since I was born. I started with, those political songwriters in Italy. And yeah, I was also listening pop music when I was 10. But then, my first, 7-inch was the Beatles. I asked my parents, you have to buy me this 7-inch from Beatles, Come Together. And I did. I still have it, but it's broken. I kept it. Yeah, because, we were doing these house parties, and everybody was trashing things around, and it got a little bit broke, so I can put on a turntable, but I still have it, and it was was amazing that I loved music so much. I was singing, I was play guitar, and for me it was incredible. Then when I got in a feminist group, we were all the political songs were there, play guitar and doing some theater. And it was, let's say that art in general and music and protesting through art has been in my heart since I was born. I was born like that. I don't know if it's a good thing to say, but it is. It's the reality for me. And so it was very natural to take photographs of them. Plus, it's very important to say that it's not, I was taking photographs of bands that, as we said before, they had a meaning in what they were doing. It wasn't just for entertainment. Nothing against entertainment. It's fine. Sometimes you need to chill out. No, I just put, you say, let's put a Smith song. When you want to chill out, no? It's just the melody, it's the words. Morrissey, when we worked with Morrissey, oh my God, I always had problems eating meat. I'm sorry, my mom was trying to feed me, really putting meat in my mouth. and I was throwing up because I couldn't swallow, and since I was bored basically. And then when I had the liberty to choose, I stopped eating. And that was exactly pretty much the period where we had Smiths in Rome. It was a tour in Italy, but the concert in Rome. And after I heard, meat is murder, I said, yes, this is it. this is the answer that I was looking for 18 years, pretty much 19 years. And Morrison was a complicated person, that's for sure. He, my boss found a really nice small hotel in the historical center of Rome, and he didn't like it. He made my boss to search last minute an hotel, one of those tall hotel outside, definitely outside the historical center. And the band was very disappointed because they love it to be in the historical center. But he really needed something more neutral, because the small hotel, it's like if it reminded him a house, maybe a house where he didn't have the support when he was young and he needed to go out of the house. I think he had that feeling of a little bit claustrophobic, and he needed a bigger, more anonymous and neutral hotel. So beside that, the show was great, was awesome, and people were just throwing those flowers everywhere. So it was good. I think I lost myself a little bit about the Smiths, but
that's fantastic.
Yeah,
but I think that just carries the weight of what you were saying. Like that, music can carry that message. You know what I mean? Like
right.
the protest, the philosophy, the sense of something more can come out of a simple statement. In a moment of a song.
Yeah, because even a song like "Meat is Murder," and it's it's a pop song in a way that people, it's pop song. You can find this a challenge for the environment. I have too much meat production, and that's bad. That's really bad for the environment. And that was political at that time. I mean, it started to be, let's say that song opened a little bit also to these type of subjects, and the production of, the mass production of meat really makes the environment suffer from that. So even that song was political. So then having a more restricted, let's say, feeling that was for punk music and hardcore music. And then reggae came a little bit later with, that for me was very important to pursue that, especially with photography and take photographs of the movement. For me, it was a movement at that point, because I was so used to be, singing in the church when I was 10. But at the same time, I wanted the Beatles on the other side, you know what I mean? And singing those songs. And then the feminist group, and then, the music production already was in some way political. As I said, no one was of the people working in the music production in Italy, they had any intention. They didn't have any intention to bring bands like that. That was political. And then, coming here and be involved as a photographer in the DC music scene, that's political. So I think for all my life, probably I was involved. So this book Be My Rebel is a collection of photographs that I took in the last couple of decades. And so it's a protests, concerts, performances, and basically the images are made from, let's say, people that use creativity to mostly stand up, speak out. And yeah, it's about resistance. And this resistance is showing up in art, music, even in simple signs and banners during a march. That's art too, with a political statement. And protest. What is protest? It is energy. I think we all agree in that. And so it can come through a song, a painting, a march, and even from a quiet photograph. No. And so when you think about punk music or feminist art or street murals, all of that is protest. It's like people saying, hey, I'm here. I won't be silent. No? So I think this book is, that's what this book is about. And all the artists involved and the activists, these, 18 women wrote for the book, and we have the sex worker, the nail salon woman from the union, also the sex workers from the union. We have the DJ, the Filipino DJ. We have musicians, Kathleen Hanna, yeah, and we have a land. We have Jesslyn, that's from the South Dakota reservation. We have activists like Kerrigan. That she was a co-founder of the fighter. Can't remember now. We have Michelle Castro. That's from the MLK Library, and she's one of the promoter of the punk archives. And that's political. We have a mother and a protester. And we have Miss Sherlock, that she's a well-known mural artist. So as you see, I didn't mention all of them, but we have a 19-year-old woman that she survived the Holocaust, as she wrote for the book, and she's an activist still at this time. Yeah, she survived the Holocaust, hiding with her family, sister and mother and father in a farm. And at that, if you someday, if the book, I think at this point we are at 71% of the Kickstarter. So I believe we'll make this book. We will really publish this book for the importance of this book. So if you will, get the book, you will read all those amazing essays from really amazing women. And the fact that they are all women, we still need, I feel that we still need to give voices to women. We have so many books that are written by men. I have nothing against, don't take me wrong. That's why sometimes it's so unbalanced that I decide to ask only women. And don't listen to the same story over and over. The new generations, they need to hear all the stories. Either men, women, it's fine. I mean, and all kind of people, they need to tell their stories. It doesn't matter where it comes from. It's the LGBTQ plus communities, women, all kind of women groups, and especially the new generation. They need to hear from everybody, really. And you know, there is a new energy and that comes from new generation. You know, if you, I went to take photographs of on the rooftop of the MK library, and there are new bands, punk bands. They are amazing. They are very political. And the good thing, at least for me, the good thing is that they don't try to imitate the old bands. They definitely they got inspired by those old, let's say, old bands, but they took this inspiration, they transformed this inspiration in something that you can see it's coming from them, their energy. So I would suggest, you know, anybody in any part of the United States to go see the new bands play, because they really have something to say, especially in this period. But so yeah, that's and also, you know, I have photographs in the book where you can see a little bit of rage, no? But the book is not, it's not only about anger, it's also about a lot of love and hope, and between the essays and the photographs, I think there is a bond, then you can feel it a lot. And while the essays are giving space to think about, the pictures are showing what's going on sometimes. And unfortunately, you know, not all protests are peaceful. There are protests where violence is coming. I'm against violence, and of course, and I don't think you get somewhere if you are showing your hunger in a public space where tons of people are involved, because people can get hurt. And there are people that are not prepared for that, especially people that are not prepared for that, and they really get hurt. And you know, it's in the same time, I can see the imbalance between, you know, I took a photograph in Rome during clashes with police, and there's this little kid throwing a rock to the other side where the police were. You can see the absurdity of this rock and all the I don't know how you say, the equipment.
Yeah.
Equipment, all the, you know,
equipment and like armory.
Where the police are wearing. Plus, they have guns, they have water cannon, they have tear gas. That's unbalanced. That's really, really unbalanced. So those photographs, they are in the book. They don't want to show that I agree with the violence, are showing the imbalance that there is between these two, let's say, enemies in that moment.
Right. It's like the David and Goliath like narrative, you know, it's like the rock and the giant, you know.
Right, exactly. So this Kickstarter campaign, as I said, we are, you know, confident in some way, because it's a 71% already, and we still have 30 days. And if we pass the goal, we can print more copies, and that would be great too. If more people wants to support, and that's what I'm hoping that the book is something good for the people and the viewer and the people that will read the essays. I hope they will find the book inspire and in any way. I don't want to say become. People should all be activists or artists with the political statements in their work. I don't want to say that. But inspired for a better thinking in a different way, and have a better perspective in this world, especially giving more, hope and peace, and don't kill each other. That's the point. That's my point. Just don't kill each other.
I think it's well said. And I think what you're doing as far as like not only just showing what's happening, but having these words that can resonate and these stories that are behind some of the images, and just stories in general that are captivating the kind of emotion and experience, I think, and pairing that with your photography is very impactful. And I'm very hopeful that this Kickstarter goes all the way and hopefully beyond. And I really appreciate you taking so much time to chat with me, and this has been very inspiring.
Thank you so much for this opportunity, and and anytime you want to talk about something else, I'll be here.
I would love to. Anytime you got something cooking, please let's do another one and dive into it.
Okay.
Awesome.
We'll do. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yo, Spike Spiegel here. You just listened to Zig at the Gig podcast. Keep riding the bebop. See you, Space Cowboy. Bang.